Mute button. Is it on mute? Mute after. Mais dat je on is, dus het checken is dat. Mute. Okay, perfect. Nee, kies het niet. Uncle, kies dat ik je een mute moet gaan roemen net. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Since I have everyone here, let's test the speaker one more time. Hello, everyone on Zoom. Since I have everyone over here, can we test the speaker one more time before Rinpoche arrives? How is the volume right now? Is it good? If it's good, please, can you guys give me a thumbs up? All right. I'm sorry, I don't know, what is this? Volume be more or less. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can fix that. This is as high as I can go. How is the sound? Is the volume good? All good? Okay, I'm gonna take that as the final answer. All right, thank you guys. Hello. Okay, okay. Speaker फायदा काही बेसिक
It's different.
It is different. So now this mic is connected to the Zoom and now so they can hear more and more better. But you just have to turn on this. You can leave it wherever you want.
Sangye Shingdo Mikte Piwain. Mandala Kamne Yamdaya. Omen Jugingi Purana, Zumzangi Kukingoni, Razam Chugo Mosum Seba, Tavila Mejala Changio, Panenji de Onju Tamjagi, Chevin Chivun Gavachigi, Tayendola Pendecheva, Palendo Wish of the Chagio, Palen Sevilla Marimbuchi, Dagin Yangarpim, Mesindula, Joameva Taurishuni, Kusum to getting up to Zumzangi chicken, or Redaking on Yazukanda. Kajin Sungda Majiba, Tijensa, Lamanta Misha Kipema to Timamegala, Gusum to Dengube Cha, Session Shoto Kapsucho, Tada Lomi Guching Lavanzedo, Manjuru Nambadan, Yambesim Gentamje, Korwa Dungi Yamzo, lettered the Nambatam Jacob. Zonju Captain Dorji Chan, Champion Kovanna Govarcha, the Chetu Dambichu, Gishing and Samu, Chawar Giwal, Kulonda Kunjugir Banam, the Girimbuchin, Chishin Sombashin, Sell up December show. So, I think yesterday we talked about the importance of non-attachment, and non-attachment. And the reason why we should be non-attachment is because what we are attached to is an illusion. What we are attached to is a concept of permanency. What we are attached to is a misunderstanding that things inherently exist. when everything is actually like an illusion, interdependently existing. Not even there's even a single atom that has inherent existence. So through and then with the method of offering to Bodhisattva, Buddhas and Bodhisattva, offering your body, offering your wealth, offering your family, and offering also doesn't really mean that Buddha needs your offering or Buddha will take your offering. It is one way is the accumulation of merit, because the law of the karma states that whatever you do, similarly the result you will gain. If you offer wealth, or if you offer wealth to Buddha, or you offer a beautiful flower to Buddha, or you give wealth to the people who are poor, offer a kind word, you will also in turn receive these kind of, similarly positive, you will also receive wealth, kind words, compliments, news, good news, etc. So that's why one reason is the law of the karma, but a more deeper reason is offering is a way of letting go, right? And letting go is the most important. Letting go is from your mind, right? And what most important letting go is not letting go object, but letting go of the kind of a concept that such and such and such a things are inherently real, such a thing as objects are inherently real, has a value, enemy is 100% there, friends are 100% there, success is 100% there, friend, enemies, friend, success, failure, valuable, invaluable, things being inherently there, that letting go of that is actually the great offering, right? So that is why, even when you're about to die, you may not be able to offer anything physically, but mentally, you have to do offering to Amitabha Buddha. And especially you should very check from your heart, what is it that you are most attached to? Some people attached to fame, some to money, some to house, some to their body, then they have to, really reflect that, so-called this body that I'm attached to. Now, every second it has been changing. Now I've reached at this age. The family that I'm attached to, due to past cause and past karma, we have met in this life, but then when the karma has exhausted, they have to go, I have to go my own way. Maybe next life I'll have another family, There's a saying that one enlightened master was, he went to, he was going Katayana, he went begging around the village. And then he saw one young man who was eating a fish and kicking a female dog, and then the Katayana looked at their past life and they saw that, or he was holding a baby in his lap, in his lap. So Katayana saw that the baby was actually his previous lives, in the previous life, the baby was his enemy. And because he had harmed the enemy and tortured the enemy so much, his karmic retribution had come that this time, sometimes children can be blessing, sometimes children can be a big torture, to the parent. So this time, the children was a karmic retribution of the past life enemy. So I think, some children come, they destroy, they finish off all the well, gives you a headache, heartache, finally kick the parent out of the house also. It does happen sometime. So a karmic debt. So he saw that that child was actually past life's enemy, and the fish that he was eating was his father, and the dog that wanted to, was, looking and hoping for a big piece of bone was actually his mother. So he said, samsara is so funny that your past enemy, you're on your lap, you're kicking your mother, and the wife wants to eat the husband's bone, and waiting for a bone, right? So that's why, so-called our family also, when we are together, definitely, we have to be good to each other. But, the family is also, and not only family, any gathering by nature, any gathering is subject to, the dispersion. It's the law of the karma, right? So that's why I think, we should not be focusing on trying to, make everything permanent and put together everything. Rather, it's more important that when we are together, how can we give joyfully to each other, give joy to each other, be good to each other, right? For example, all of you are gathered here, I think online, virtually, and physically also we are gathered here, right? So if I say that, oh, now we are all gathered here, now I will make sure that they'll be forever with me and lock the door and the thing, then this will no longer be joyful, it will be a kidnapping, no, right? So, it is not important how long we stay together. Important is while we are together, we should say words which are beneficial and kind to each other. We should do actions that are beneficial to each other. We should have some sort of tolerance, knowing that impermanent nature of all relationship, every gathering has to end. If we do that, then even if we are together for 10 minutes or 1 hour or 1 day, it becomes a joyful. You feel happy to see each other, right? You feel happy. If it is not, even if it's for lifetime together, it's nothing but one day when their family dies, there's and I'm so glad he's gone, she's gone, becomes a relief, right? Because the living together was such a torture, right? We didn't live in a, with the awareness. We didn't live in a way that we benefited each other and understood the impermanent nature of every relationship, every gathering. So that is why when you are about to die, this sort of understanding that, this illusory, family is also in a way illusion, right? For children also, for parent also, in a way, isn't it the illusion of our past life karma, present life karma, that, someone you never knew, right? You never knew your children before. They come out, from your womb, and then you have so much attachment to it. And for the children also, isn't it karma that you have never met your parent, you have never, you didn't come with a bank balance, you didn't come with a college degree, but somehow, as soon as we become, the children, we feel like, oh, this is my parent, we have some sort of right over them, I always amazed at my own self, my own reaction, many people's reaction, that if a stranger gives you $1,000, you say, oh, he's such a nice person, so kind, right? But if a parent doesn't leave you, he gives you 100,000, you say, well, what about the $1 million property? That also I want, right? Isn't it very strange that we seem to feel that we have some sort of right over our parent, Maybe it's a karmic debt, I do not know. But in this sense, we didn't really do any favor to our parents by being born. We just made our mother have a lot of stretch mark, gain weight, right? No. Yet we feel we have so much right, and that sort of attitude puts us also sometimes in a very difficult situation. I have met someone, who was saying that I have, I welcome my father for dinner every night, but my father is very unhappy because he knows that I'm inviting him dinner because I want his property, And he was very honest also in a stranger. He said, but it is true, I do want his property, and that is why I'm inviting. But he's refusing to come, And that's why I've been depressed for the past 8 months. And he was really depressed, But, but wouldn't it be much more if you have a different attitude, that if my parents have given me love and affection, gave me education to able to stand up, whatever they have is their own hard work. If they want to give me as a son, I thank them, and I'll try to return their kindness in my life. If they don't give also, that's there, right? If you don't have attachment, then the relationship between parent and children will become more pure. Relationship between relatives, whatever, will be more sincere. It's not a transactional relationship. So anyway, so when we are the about to die, that sort of the attachment, strong attachment, and then the hatred, is very much not recommended, especially at the time of the dying, because it is said that even your whole life you have been a very good person, did a lot of good karma, but when you're about to die, you die with so much of hatred, then there's a much more possibility for you to be born into the lower realm, because that is the crucial point where this life's karma is finished and next life karma is about to ripen. It's like you may do a lot of preparation, but at the airport, if you enter a wrong plane, right, it doesn't matter how much preparation you have done, at the crucial moment you have made a mistake. So that is why, and another way also, even if you have done a lot of bad karma and lived a very negative life, by the time of the crucial moment of the death, if you can generate, remember the Amitabha Buddha and Buddha, your guru, confess all the negative things you have done, and make a strong positive dive with a strong positive mind, you will have the karma to be reborn into human world, human realm. So many of the prayers that we do, the etc., is supposed to even help people to be reborn into the human realm. But the law of the karma is such that even if you're born into the human realm, because you have done so much bad karma, you will have a long, sort of very short life, poverty, difficulty, because law of the karma is that either you purify or you experience it. There's no third option. But it is said that when the time of the death, is a very crucial, it can determine our rebirth. So that is why many of the masters say that when you're about to die, make sure that you are not surrounded by people who irritate you, who will either make you very angry or even very attached. Also is not very good. That's why Milarepa said that when I'm about to die, I don't want to be surrounded by crying relatives, and etc. I want to die in a cave alone with remembering my guru and his teachings. Because the reason he's saying is that I know that in the many of us, we see too much movies, we believe too much of the movies, and we think it's real, right? Because we watched them while growing up, because in the movies they always seem that the best way to die seems to be like you are in the bed and then all your families are looking at you with the love, and they're saying goodbye, go with the peace, and you also smile and say okay, right? It looks so nice, but in the reality, even if firstly it may not be possible you have such a nice relatives, right? And they may be talking other things, they may be talking, oh, he's never dying, and it's been so many months, it's so difficult for us. Hospital bill is expensive. Do you know that his property, what is he doing? He's become very close with this healthcare. He may give the property to that person, right? They might be talking about you, even before you have died. There's a possibility there. Or even if it's not, they're very loving and relative to you, still, it will just remind you of what you are going to lose, right? If you are a diabetic and somebody's eating chocolate in front of you, how will you feel, right? So all your family is, in a way, of course, is very understandable, but your family is also a reminder of, your attachment and what you are going to lead. It's even more painful. That's why even if we have to be around them, I think whether they're around you or not, if we have to be around people who are dying, we have to be saying, even the family has to be saying, we shouldn't be saying, oh, don't go, please be with us. If they had a choice, who will go? So there's no point. Rather, we have to say, I think now, even if you have to die, it doesn't matter. You are going now, but we will come later for sure. That's guaranteed. I went to a hospital and somebody asked me, what did the doctor say? I said, doctor told me that for sure one day you will die. It's guaranteed. So you can say, don't be too attached. Yes, one day you will have to die. You may die, but we will also die one day. Everybody is important. Think you may be attached to home, but what is there to be really attached? Because when you have, you may be attached. After you die, somebody else will say it is their home, their land. After somebody else will say their land. How many kings and emperors and empires have come and gone, right? When we go to museum, what do they show? Every time I see a museum, in a way, I feel it's like a illusion. It's like a a kind of moment captured in a time, right? They also, if you check the museum, it shows that at that moment in that century, they also had a family. They also had to work. They also worried about their career, about their grandchildren, granddaughter, their politics, their whatever. Now nobody even remembers them, right? They're just a thing, right? So what is there to be, what is there to be so attached? There was a story that there was once a king, he conquered like a large part of India. And he thought that I'm the greatest king and I want to go to the highest mountain and write my name. So he went to, I don't know what mountain, and then he came back disappointed. So the ministers asked, why didn't you write? He said, there's no space, there many other great kings have come and written their name, right? So how many, even if you have achieved so many great things, it's impermanent. How many have already achieved and gone, in the future also will come. Presidents have come and gone. Kings have come and gone, famous people, family, wealth. There's nothing that is anybody has been able to take with them. So why are you so attached to it? If it's you dying, you have to be telling yourself. If it's a relative dying, you have to say, do not be attached. Now remember your teaching. Maybe you practice Tara. Maybe it is Amitabha Buddha. Remember and make an aspiration to be reborn in Amitabha Buddha pure land. And we will also make sure that from your wealth, at least 10-20% we'll make sure dedicated to good deeds, and send it under, for dedicated for you. So that sort of reassurance is a very, very important. Also, the attitude from the ourself is also very, very crucial, because if not, there's nothing you can do, right? Because you are at the bed, hospital, you can even barely speak, but extreme attachment, frustration, pain, unable to do anything, knowing that you are going to die, it is just it will like 1,000 times magnify the mental suffering. And what is the point? I remember once in one of the Patyatras we did in Bhutan, somebody was saying that principal was saying, when we were stopped at one school, and the principal was saying, one of the 8-year-old boy was possessed by his late father, and late father was saying, please tell my present wife, don't get married, don't akumatse, and I have a Buddha statue, please, give to this son, right? I mean, when you have died, whether your wife marries again or not, what difference does it make to you, right? If you don't have a mouth, if somebody else eats or not, it's just attachment. And attachment is the one giving pain, unable to let go, right? So that's why during the time of the death, letting go is a very important. Letting go either through understanding of impermanence, emptiness, non-dualistic nature, Dhammakaya nature, Dzogchen Chakshin, number one. If not, at least understand the impermanence, and whatever I have, my wealth, my family, I offer to Buddha Amitabha. May Buddha Amitabha bless them and all the sentient beings. May I be reborn Amitabha Buddha pure land. That sort of renunciation and looking forward to Amitabha Buddha pure land. These two are very, very crucial. Right? These two are crucial. If you're able to do that, you'll be able to die with a smile on your face, right? Because there's no reason for not to smile. You are able to let go of, your attachment. So there's no reason to suffer. You have understood the practice of Amitabha Buddha, and you know that you are going to a better place. So, you know that you will continue to go to Amitabha Buddha pure, his promise, and you can continue your practice under his guidance. So what is the reason is there to fear? So that is why these two are the crucial. And the process of dying, to explain a little bit, I think, especially to our Sangha in America, both the South and North America, how in the Himalayan region, how we understand the process of death, we'll tell in a brief, because detail goes to the Bardo teaching, but just to give you a brief detail, it is said that now if you die by accident, there's a very different matter, but if you die naturally on your bed, it is said that firstly, the 5 elements, start kind of shutting down, right? Element, for example, our physical strength is the earth element. So when you're about to die, when the earth element kind of starts shutting down, dissolving, then you can no longer move your body, you lose your strength. And then when the water element starts shut down, our throat becomes dry, you feel thirsty. They say people who are about to die, they ask for water. And then, when the fire element dies down, your body lacks warmth. Even in the hot summer, you still feel cold. And then, when finally, I think the air element that shuts down or that dissolves, then you cannot breathe, and you cannot, you have a difficulty in breathing in and out. I personally have never seen, but my teacher, one of my teachers, Jasin Tukurimbuchi, he has gone to the deathbed of many people to guide them. So he told me that when people are about to die, they have a start very hoarse breathing, and then said they have a long exhalation, and then breathe and exhale, and they can't breathe in, and then that is the time the outer breathing is stopped. And even though the outer breathing is stopped, the inner, the breath is still there, and that is the time though our mind starts shutting down. And mind shutting down also goes into a gradual process. For example, firstly, the mind or emotion related to the anger, starts shutting down dissolve into the desire, because anger is something that's very strong emotion. So strong emotion dissolve into subtler emotion of desire, right? Because when somebody's angry, you can see in their face, but when somebody has attachment, you can't. It's not that easy to judge because it's more subtle emotion. And then the desire dissolve into the ignorance, and then ignorance dissolve into the nature of the mind, So that, and then when you dissolve nature of the mind for a moment, if you are someone who has always practiced finished the Monro, did the Mahamudra or Dzogchen, and you have meditated on nature of your mind, then what you have meditated and what is happening naturally due to, the dissolution of mind into nature, you will recognize it. If you can, that is called getting enlightened in the first opportunity to get enlightened. And also, if you have not done that, but maybe you have done Poa. So Poa is that is the right time to do Poa. Is actually, some people, they do Poa after the people have died for 1-2 days and all that time. Unless the master is very qualified, it is difficult to help. So the right time to do the Poa is when that person about the process of dying has started. At that time, if you can do the Poa, it's 100% sure that it will be effective. So what is the Poa? Poa is a Vajrayana practice where while you're alive, you visualize yourself as the Vajra Yogini or a Buddha. You visualize your guru on the crown of your head, guru in the form of Amitabha Buddha, Avalokeshvara, Vajradhara. And then you visualize the channels. And then you visualize your consciousness going, with the deep devotion. The success of Poa depends on the devotion. Number one is the devotion. Second is the breathing. There's some technique. So if you, with the devotion, when you practice, after doing the soul supplication, when you practice, just put in growing to kind of, like forcing your consciousness, into together with the sound, into the guru's heart above, and visualize coming out of your consciousness. So when you do that many times, I think each session is about 100 times. So usually it's done 3 times, 4 times. There are about 100 times, I think, into 3 sessions or 4 sessions. So those who have a purified karma, strong devotion, some within 1 day, some within 3 days, they have a signs. For example, some have the blood coming out of their their crown. Some the wound like opens. Some they have a strong scratching, and wherever there's a scratching, you put the kusha grass. And if it is the genuine Poa sign, kusha grass will go into like a butter, right? Recently, some of my the friends, they were, I think, some of my friends were practicing Poa. So one of the practitioner, I think he was within 3 days he was going. So I think others were feeling bad, So I think they forced themselves, I think, because there was a blood, So when there's a blood in it, that means this is not the Poa sign, And not only that, the real Poa sign, you put the ground, it stays there, But if you just force it, it will fall down, If it's a genuine one, it goes. If there's no blood, it goes. And you can sleep and get up and still it will be there. That means that you have opened up the channel. So if you cannot open within 3 days, I think that the best kind of the qualified practitioner within 1 day, medium 1 3 day, the low kind of the big end, what do you say? You have a lot of karma to purify within 7 days. If you have devotion, you can be open this channel. So once you have opened up this channel, that means now you know how to throw your kind of, force your consciousness into so when you're about to die, at that time, either you or maybe a friend together with you, you have to transfer your consciousness into your guru, and then your guru, visualize the guru going into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, and then you are born there. You don't need anybody else to do prayer for you if you are a genuine practitioner. One of my teacher, Gyaltsen Rinpoche, every year he teaches Poa in Bhutan for 200-300 people from Eastern Bhutan. And many of them have the sign. And I was told that one of them last year, I think they died in the hospital, and she couldn't read she couldn't, I think, strength to read, but she got the Poa's lineage prayer, and she was reading and doing, hick, hick. And they say that later when she, and then suddenly like that, she passed away. And they're saying they found that some sort of hair had come out, and, the signs are there. so she's just a village elder lady, but she had, maybe being lucky to be born in the Himalayan Buddhist country, the faith was there, devotion was there, and the Guru's and the Buddha's blessing, so she was able to, I think, guide herself to Pure Land. And even when the masters do also, I was told that our masters, they say that you have to do poa if you are going near the dead body. You have to do poa about at least 9 times. And then one of the sign of the poa is that sometimes, the master has a quality and the student have a devotion, then without even touching, the hair falls out. When you do the poa, the hair patch of hair falls out. If not, you can go near the hair and go near the body, and after you do the poa, the crown, the hair will come out very easily, that part. So that means, oh, now call the poa tips, he has got the poa. So these are now I'm not talking about Sutrayana, yeah. What we have been talking about is Sutrayana, but I'm saying Vajrayana way of dealing with the death is one of the practices, the poa practice. So if you can do the poa, then that is the one of the best way you transfer your consciousness, and Guru goes to Amitabha Pure Land, and then you are liberated, or you are liberated from the cyclic existence, and you can continue your practice in the Amitabha Buddha. So that's one. So then and the other one is, if you are a practitioner, great practitioner, greater than that, who has recognized the nature of the mind, then when your mind dissolves into the nature of the mind, you recognize it, then you go into what is called Tukdam, or meditative state. And when that happens, even when you die, maybe you are like that, but after that, your body becomes straight. Your body doesn't lose warmth, it doesn't stink, it doesn't smell, until the meditative process has finished. And when the meditative process is finished, usually from the practitioner, from the right and the lows, or something whitish and red liquid will come out. And there's a sign, now he has come out his meditation state. So that is called Tukdam. So these are, not that easy, very difficult. But poa is for a Vajrayana practitioner with the, devotion. It shouldn't be too difficult. Poa is not that, if you have the devotion and the thing. Now for a Sutrayana practitioner, let's say you are not a Vajrayana practitioner yet. You have not finished the Ngondro, nor have you finished the required practices to learn poa yet. So what can you do? What you can do is, read the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And that is a Sutrayana way of doing poa, because every time you are thinking that visualizing Amitabha Buddha, he is Pure Land, and in the future, when I'm about to die, may I be reborn there in the lotus and receive the teaching. Every time you are doing that, you are in a way throwing your mind, sending your mind to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So this is also called Sutrayana way of doing poa. And this is also equally effective, especially at the time of the death. You're about to die with the, that sort of understanding and visualization and practice. Even though you do not know the poa, you will have the ability to send your consciousness to the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So that's called Sutrayana poa, Sutrayana way of the poa. Now from the Vajrayana style, tradition, if you cannot get enlightened at that moment, and then the consciousness, comes out. And when the consciousness comes out, it is said that it comes out from the 9, the doorways. So like the eyes, nostril, the forehead, fontanella, I think between the eyebrows and the mouth, then the way excrement, the navels, where we do big toilet, small toilet, etc. And I think so that is why, depending on where the consciousness came out, it can be indication of where they're going to be reborn. For example, if someone dies with a little bit of excrement, that means that person's consciousness has come out, and the inner air has come out. Air is like the force that pushes the consciousness, has come out of that kind of, the excrement, and they have been born into the lower realm. Or somebody dies with the mouth open, some with the eyes wide open. So I think the eyes is, born into one of the God realm or demigod realm, something like that. So these 9 doorways are the different realms are, as the consciousness comes out and determines where they're reborn. That's why in the Vajrayana teachings, we say that after someone has died, you shouldn't disturb them, if they are practitioner. And if you have to disturb them, the first thing that you should touch is maybe with the statue of a Buddha. You should touch the crown of their head, so that consciousness will come out of the crown and go to the pure land. And maybe you can say, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Ami Dewa Tri, do some prayer. The first place we should touch is the crown of the deceased body, right? And so if you, and then once the consciousness comes out, then for 3.5 days, we do not really know whether we have died or not, because we try to talk to people, they don't speak back to us. We can read their mind, listen to them. We run, when you think of New York, we're in New York. When you think of Brazil, we are certainly in Brazil, and we get vertigo, we get confused. I was in New York right now, how did I get here? So for 3.5 days, they really do not recognize that they have died. So that is why in our Vajrayana tradition, we say that for 3.5 days, doing prayer every day, giving food, giving prayer is very important, because they go through a lot of, pain before they can accept that they have died. So if you are a practitioner, then at that second opportunity for enlightenment is, okay, now I think I have, I think I have died. Now it's time for me to, instead of, time for me to do my, the liberation through, for example, the Tara practice. Tara, instead of, having so much of experiencing the illusions and the fear, rather, let me, because whenever we are experiencing illusion and fear, it's because we have a very strong dualistic concept. Even though when we do Tara, what we say, we always say, Om Subhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Subhava Shuddha Hang Om is Amrita, which means that me and all the phenomena has no inherent existence. So-called I also, there is no such a thing inherently I existing that I can find. So-called external phenomena also, you break down into if it's a house also, there's not a one single atom called house existing you can find. Even the universe that I saw somewhere in the science, they say that universe also came out of nothingness. Universe born out of nothingness. So so the nothingness is universe is nothingness. Similar, like the Heart Sutra says, Suk Tongbao, Tongbanyi, Zukso, Sugle Tongbanyi. So anyway, so that if you are a practitioner of Tara, then I think I have died and I'm in the Pardo, but instead of the getting lost in a dualistic way, let me remain in the nature of the mind for a moment, free of all concept. And then from there, my non-dualistic nature arise into the Tara, and then you do the Tara practice, you remember your guru, and then if you're able to do that, then it is called the second opportunity to get enlightened, into the Sambhagakaya. And now if you're not able to do that, then after 7 days have gone, every 7 days, you have to go through the small death again. Every time, once you are born to the Pardo, you also are born with a body, a light kind of body, which cannot see the sun and moon, but can sense, can hear, can smell, can really eat, but can smell. That's why we burn the food offerings to the deceased being. So if you cannot, every 7 days we die and then we are reborn. That is why in the Himalayan tradition, every 7 days is called Dunsik, and we do prayer, for them. And then the next opportunity is now, through your prayers and remembering the Buddha, and you have to be able to, prevent the rebirth. For example, as I mentioned a few days ago, if you can see your father and mother from far, and instead of getting attached to them or anger towards, like if you're a boy, attachment towards the mother, anger towards the father, that anger and attachment will draw your consciousness and you are reborn. You feel a lot of, the cold, and you feel like going to a warmth for shelter, and then, into the hell realm. You feel, gods and goddesses dancing, and you want to be reborn. There you get attracted, then you are born to the samsaric god realm. You feel like being, chased by cold wind, and you take a shelter in the leaf, and then you are born into the animal realm. So when you feel this fear, so when you feel this fear, you have to understand that this fear is, the manifestation of my own ignorance, right? Because when you have, what is they saying, that there's nothing to fear except fear itself, right? Which means that fear is also a projection of our own mind.
You may dislike something. What you fear is not in the object, but is a projection of your own mind, right? So that's why some people are afraid of, some people are afraid of spider, some people are afraid of, the dark, some people are afraid of this and that. We have so many fears. But whenever you feel some fear, for example, you feel scared of spider, and if you just let yourself go with that fear, you will definitely feel. But if you next time you see a spider or something you are scared, when you start to feel fear, just kind of observe that fear. Where does this fear come from? What does this fear look like? Is the fear on the spider, or am I projecting my fear on the spider? Spider is this small. I am 6 foot, and weigh 90 kilo. Who should be scared of who? Right? You think about it, you might realize actually the spider should be scared, right? Snake should be scared, right? And especially as human beings, everybody should be scared, We say we are scared of ghosts, but have you ever seen a ghost that eats meat and bone soup and wears the human skin? No, right? We human beings, we eat their bone, heart, liver, blood, we wear the skin. So who is more scared? I think ghosts should be scared of us, right? Right? When you go to the supermarket, it's just that we are not used to it. Otherwise, look at the supermarket. There's many of the restaurants. They hang the pig's leg, the chicken. Everything hanging down, very nicely washed. So you get the illusion that it's okay. But imagine it's not a chicken, but a human being. There's a French leg. Brazilian. Kidney. And I don't know, Bhutanese. The calf. The Bhutanese thigh. And then I don't know. Wouldn't you feel so scared, right? So, what do we really have to be scared of anybody? Everybody should be scared of us human beings. So, the fear is a projection of your mind. Fear is also a projection. Love is also projection. Beauty, fear, everything is our projection. And that projection comes because we think that something exists inherently existing, called ugliness inherently exists there in their person, So that is not right? Usually we'll say something very dirty. This very dirty, don't touch. But you check nice. $100. It's okay. It's no longer dirty, right? Right? Somebody might say, do you know the money is the most dirty thing? It has got so much virus. You say, yeah. And then you put it, no matter how much virus or dirty it is, $100, you don't mind, right? Because your concept, that logically, it might be dirty, but conceptually, you find it valuable, attractive. So it doesn't look dirty to you, right? So that is why all the things we fear, we love, we like, are projection of our own dualistic mind, right? Our own belief that everything so-called dirtiness inherently exists, so-called the scary things inherently exist, right? So that's why, as a practitioner of the Tara, for example, instead of getting fear, instead of when you feel somebody is chasing you, instead of fear, just look at, kind of look into your nature of the mind, and see that your nature of the mind is neither fear nor hope, beyond hope and fear, and relax in there. Visualize the father as Avalokeshwara, Guru Rinpoche, mother as a Chizenduma, and look at with the devotion, and then the moment you look at that, your desire and anger will be different, right? The attitude will change. For example, you look at somebody, he looks like my enemy, but you look at nice, he's my friend, and the moment you have a concept, he's your friend, suddenly, your whole face changes, right? Before you thought he looks like someone who I don't like, but right? So nothing has changed except your perception. Similarly, instead of when you're in a pardo having attachment and fear, if we dissolve all things into shunyata, from there transform into Guru Rinpoche, then whatever you see, things will be general. Instead of drawing your kind of, in encouraging you to develop attachment and fear and anger, will generate sense of wisdom, sense of calmness. So when you have the calmness, what can you do? You can make wise decisions, right? For example, even when we are talking, when we are getting either too attached, we say what not things, and we feel later embarrassed, you say, oh, I said so many. Or when you are angry, also we say so many things. We make wrong decisions. When we are either too excited or too angry, we always make decisions that is not based on the logic, but out of fear and hope, right? When you are trying too hard to please somebody, you say what not things, even your friends, they look at you. I didn't know you were such a polisher, right? Because it's not, you are may not be polisher, but at that time, there's something you want so much. And you think that, that what you want is great, is existing there, rather than your understanding that it's your own mind that think it is a great, it's a desirable, is your own mind's creation. So, then when you are not able to that, we do many things. So that's why, the youth dissolve, transform into the Tara pure land, Pardo into the pure land, whatever you see into the Guru Rinpoche, Tara, Amitabha Buddha, and then, you have the ability to make saying, to supplicate to them and, choose your rebirth, then you have choose ability. Maybe you can pray to Amitabha Buddha and remember to make aspiration to go there. And you basically go there means right now we have a physical body. Our karma to be in this body is not finished. But when you are in the Pardo, you have no physical body. You are at the junction where you have to take a rebirth. So if you make aspiration, strong in aspiration, you will be reborn Amitabha Buddha pure land. If you can't, you have to be born a human being also. You can choose. I think I should be born into this country with this parent, because that parent have a spirituality, devotion to the Dharma, right? So I will be born. You have ability to choose which rebirth. So this is called the third option for liberation. So in terms of prayers and ceremonies that we do also, the first most important ceremony is when someone is about to die, to tell them, do not be attached. Now this life dream is ending. Whatever you have, negative you have done, confessed and purified to Amitabha Buddha. Whatever you feel you are attached, offer it to Amitabha Buddha. Anyway, when you thought it's something belonged to you, that was also an illusion and your own attachment. Now when you can letting go, it's also from your mind you are letting go. It doesn't matter. Just offer it. And Buddha Amitabha will accept it, and you will receive both the liberation and the blessing and the merit. And then remembering Amitabha Buddha, your teaching. If you have done poor, then doing your power practice or asking someone to guide you, that's the thing. And then when the consciousness has come out, then the prayers are done for next 3.5 days. And on every week, right? Usually it is done till some they do till 49, some they do till 3 weeks. So 3 weeks is some day till 3 weeks, because it is said that after 3 weeks, the next life karma begins to exert its force. That means, for example, until 3 weeks, the person who is deceased will remember all the things from the life he just left. He will recognize his wife, husband, property, thinking, whatever. But after 3 weeks, where he's going to be reborn, if he's going to be reborn as a god, then he starts to slowly forget the memories of his life he just left, and then he starts to think like where he's going to be reborn. Even the walking movements are said to be different. If you're going to be born as a god, you always walk with just looking up. Your thinking is different. If you're going to be born as animal realm, then you start to walk in a crawling way, crawling on your four. Your desire is also more like wanting leaf or wanting grass or, the hunting, whatever, so after 21 days, it's quite difficult to change the direction of one's rebirth. After 49 days, usually most of the beings, they take rebirth in one way or another. Some beings are said to stuck in the Pardo for, years and years, eons and eons. But that is not normally the case. It's the exception according to the teachings. Right? So now, and when I say, doing the virtuous deed also, let's imagine that you are somewhere in Brazil or Australia or maybe in Peru. Right now, of course, you are very lucky that even in Brazil you have, Lama Lhawang, who is also a very good teacher, good practitioner. We have a Nanjing Rinzin. In Peru, we have, Mang Jingme Rinzin. All of them are good and genuine practitioners. But imagine that you are in a place where there's no monk or nun. So what can you do? Right? What you don't have to do any, if you do not know how to do much, if you know how to do nyungne, that's the best. You can take the nyene wow. If you can't do nyungne, it doesn't matter. Nyene wow is, if you can take, that is very good, right? And you take in the morning, get up, take the 8 precepts wow, and then you read Amitabha Buddha pure, and you have a statue or a picture of Amitabha Buddha, right? If you don't have if you have a fancy one, golden Amitabha Buddha, that's also very good. You have accumulated merit. If you don't have the money, you have only a paper Amitabha Buddha, that's also good, because what you are really praying is not to the quality of the paper or the gold, but the Buddha Amitabha that represent, right? You want it to be gold because you want to accumulate merit, not because gold Buddha has a more blessing. So that's why whatever you have, then you look towards the Western direction and offer lamb. And if you can take a 8 precept and do the prayer will be much more powerful. Why? Because it is said that from an ordinary person who has no precepts at all, someone who keeps the precept, someone who says that, okay, from today till tomorrow, I will not kill, I will not eat meat, I will not drink alcohol, I will not lie, I will not do, keeps the precept and then do the prayer, it's much more profound. And from an odd person who keeps only for 24 hours, if you have a bhikshuni who keeps for a lifetime, that is much, that person's prayer has much more effect, because he himself has a, his whole foundation of the precept is there. If you have a Changchup Sempa, Bodhisattva, he offers 1 lamb is more than any ordinary thousand monks and nuns, because he's a Bodhisattva, right? So that's why according to the mental ethics, the merit also is also different level. But if you cannot do that, that also doesn't matter. If all you have to do is for the picture of Amitabha Buddha, keep offering whatever you have, lamb and flowers and whatever delicious things, whatever you have, you offer, you prostrate, and then you do the Amitabha Buddha, the prayer, 6 times, 6 times a day for the next 3.5 days after the person has passed. And then on every day, that person has died for the next, if possible, 49, if not for at least the 3 weeks, on the exact day that person has died, you should do the Amitabha Buddha prayer again, and on top of that, not only prayer, but you can, for example, you can give food to the animal, food to the poor, you can build a bridge, build a hospital, make a, like a footpath in the public park, buy it, whatever, help the old people. Anything, any merit that you do and dedicate to the deceased being will be of great help to the person who has passed away. And I hope that in the future, our Buddhist tradition will be more like that, right? Nowadays, I think, it's a very good, but I only see people doing the prayers and, the ritual, but I don't see people saying that in the memory of my late father, I'm, giving food to the dogs or helping the poor or planting the tree, They don't seem to do that much. Maybe we are not used to it. But if you think from the law of the cause and effect, when you give a food to the poor, it is saving the life of so many beings, and saving the life of another being. When you plant a tree, you are saving in a way, saving the life of every being on the planet. You are saving that. So whatever I remember in my younger generation, or when I was in my childhood time, I remember that in Darjeeling, people used to give food to people used to have a big kind of, like a pot, and full of rice and the dal, and they used to give to every beggar, and I was wondering, and it looked very delicious. And I also wanted to ask, being children, being very hungry, but I didn't have the courage to ask, But I asked them, what are they doing? They said, oh, somebody has died. We are doing Gyalwa, So they used to give to all the beggars and the poor people. I thought that was such a wonderful practice, right? Because yes, you do your prayers, everything, but at the same time, you actually help another sentient being and dedicate it for the disease, the thing, right? But after some time, I do not know, Gyalwa has become different. Nowadays, I do not know how it is, but sometimes, when they say Gyalwa in Himalayan region, it has become like a party, like, where are you going? I'm going to Gyalwa Khanu Gago, Gyalwa has become to eat, right? That means, somebody's died and you're going to eat the good food, and then, the persons family who have lost their dear ones are crying, and you are kind of talking about the delicious food or not, it's really, and that is not, I think the attitude that we should have, it's, I think, when we are going to people who have lost their dear ones also, it doesn't really matter whether you have money to give or not, or, I don't think we should worry, when it comes to spiritual tradition, the genuineness of the heart is more important than our kind of culture and societal, the relationship, right? Because what you're really going there is to help the poor person who has died, that deceased being who has been, taken out from his beautiful home, his body, his family, he has lost everything. So all we go there to do is go there, maybe go there, spend maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, maybe do 100 mala of money and dedicate to the deceased being. That will help the deceased being, it's very good. And also, sometimes giving these too many things, preparing to, it also creates a social circle, because you did so much of grand kind of funeral, and the thing, and then next time other people also feel the pressure to do it, then they also have to do it, but they don't have the money, they have to take a loan. Then at the end they will say, Buddhism is very expensive, we cannot afford the Dharma, let me give up my religion, right? Buddha Shakyamuni never said, please throw a big party when people are dying, and exchange a lot of gift, Buddha never said that. It's our own societal culture creates it, and then we blame it on the Dharma. So that's why, especially when during the time of the death, I think the genuine compassion for the person who's died, and what can we do to help the deceased being, I think is the most important consideration over any, the societal norms. So like that for, I think if you can do for 21 days, I think that is, you as in a condition where there's no temple, no monks, I think you have done your duty to the people you have lost. I think you should have a confidence that you have done your best and it will benefit them. Okay. So that's the attitude. Now coming back to the prayer, the continuation of prayer. Now, yesterday we did the visualizing the Amitabha Buddha in his pure land, and then accumulating the merit through the 7th branch. The next step is about, the making a prayer from now, that when we are about to die, right? For example, it says that myself and all the sentient beings connected to me, when they are about to die. When I'm about to die, may Amitabha Buddha, surrounded by the bhikshu and bhikshunis and bodhisattvas, appear in front of them. And when we, myself and all the beings connected to me, the reason connected, is a very interesting and profound. Connected means that, for example, if someone gives you a water, we have a karmic connection, right? That person is giving you something, so you have a karmic connection. So when you do something, do a prayer for that person, it will have effect because you have a karmic connection of a water between you. That's why when the children pray for the parents, there's a karmic connection of what the parent has done for the children. So between partners, some connection has to be there. That is why we say that in the Himalayan tradition that, we have to create karmic connection, Dewa, like Chöki Dewa. Some they want to karmic connection with the master by offering a tea, and then the master, they drink tea, there's a karmic connection, and through the karmic connection you can help each other. If there's no karmic connection and or if you can help, then that basically means that what is the use of law of cause and effect, right? Law of cause and effect clearly states that what you have done, you will experience. What others have done, they will experience, right? If I eat lunch, you will not feel full, right? If you eat lunch, I will not feel full. There has to be some connection. And that is why it is Tadang Tala Jetokun means with whom I have a connection. So connection can be positive or connection can be negative also. If someone has harmed you, abused you, there's also a negative karmic connection. So as a bodhisattva, as a practitioner, we are supposed to pray that to every sentient being who have a connection with me, whether they are positive or negative, I pray so that when they are about to die, they will see Amitabha Buddha with their own eyes. And when they see the Amitabha Buddha, may they have no worry about, no fear of no suffering, pain of the dying, because they know that, it doesn't matter, right? If from like a difficult country, you're coming to a better country, you won't mind. Chanju Semba Chicken, and then the 8 bodhisattvas, come in the sky in front of me and show me the path. And I'm so happy that I am going to be lead to the Amitabha Buddha pure land, because I know that suffering of the hell realm, hungry ghost realm, maybe we can't see them, but we can understand them from the Buddha's teaching. And even the animal realm also, we can't, bear their suffering, right? In the name of in the name of so many things, in the name of consumer, the kind of market something, we kill how many billions of fishes, we kill the pigs, the pork, the cows, and how many, in the name of the fashion, in the name of so many things, animals are, going through tremendous suffering through human being, through each other also, they eat each other. So many, the suffering of animal beings are so unbearable. I don't think that I want to be reborn into that, the three lower realms for sure. And even if I'm born as a God realm, you might think the God realm is very, very happy. And it is true. If you are born into the samsaric God realm, it is said that for our 1000, if you do, for example, you do a, like a nyungne, right? You do a nyungne and say that in the next life, I want to be born as a God. You will definitely be born as a God. And when you are born as a God, you will have a beautiful body. Your body doesn't smell. Your flower doesn't wilt. 1000 year, 1000, I think a day or year, I think year is 1 year in God, 1 day in the God world. They live for, and if you're male God, you're surrounded by thousands of beautiful goddesses. If you are female, again, the similar, and so much of pleasure is there for sure. But that pleasure has an expiration date, because you are up there due to the cause and condition. And when the karma has finished, 1000 years are finished, and when you're about to die, I think the 7 days before you die, before God dies, they begin to notice that now suddenly they start sweating. Suddenly their flower starts wilting. Their radiance, they lose the radiance. Then all other gods also notice that, oh, now you are, I think you are about to die, it's okay, you stay there, quarantine there, So they quarantine you far away, your wives, your brothers, your friend, they quarantine you far away, and they also can see that now their positive karma is finished. Now they're going to be born into the hell realm or animal realm. They go through so much of mental suffering. Imagine that you were some sort of very high official, secretary, prime minister, president, whatever, and you are very attached to it, right? And now that you're going to lose your position and become nobody, if you're very attached to that position, the mental pain will be unbearable, right? If you are someone very wealthy and you are very attached to that wealth, if you're not very attached to wealth is a tool, You may be wearing a billion dollar house, living in a $1 billion house, but for you, house is a house. House doesn't have a value. I put the value, right? Whether in a $1 million and a $1 dollar doesn't have a value. We human beings have put the value. That's why the word dollar can buy 10 years ago. Now you can't get it. Then you call it inflation, right? Inflation is basically collective consciousness of defining the value of, the whatever object, whatever, right? Basically, I always feel very confused about inflation, right? You can look at the rice and oil, everything, you can look at that. Does the oil suddenly, price goes up, It doesn't go up, no, right? 100 years ago, first actually oil doesn't have a price only, we human beings are the put the price. Then due to, different concept of this, then, the price is going up, inflation, deflation, all stock market going up is all happening due to our collective, the concept, right? And that concept is supported by many, it becomes reality, at least to ourselves, right? That's why we human beings worry about inflation, but did you ever see your dog worry about inflation, right? We don't know. So it's a very human kind of collective concept we create. Inflation, stock going up or down, poor, rich, wealth, whatever, right? So that is why anyway, 되게 해마도. So anyway, may I have a, so Anzumgi, may I, if, so God realm, yes, I was talking about God realm. So they have, that the mental suffering, no? So mental suffering is unbearable. And it is true, I think even in the societies we hear that sometimes one CEO has suicided because his company has, failed. And, I think maybe when he was alive, he was very attached to the success and the fame. Everybody looked up to him, or at least he thought everybody looked up to him, because in reality, if you really think about it, nobody has a time to look up to anyone for 100%, 24/7, no? We are all busy with our own, headaches, but we think that, oh, I am so important. Everybody must be thinking about me. I think most of the time we all are thinking 99.9 about ourselves, we don't have time to, but we think like that, all of this self-importance we create, and we get attached to the idea of our own creation of self-importance, right? Actually, no one is really that important. No one is indispensable. No? Even president comes and goes. Countries doesn't. What does it really happen? Right? Changes will happen. Life will go on. Right? No one is really indispensable. But when you get attached to that, then you go through a lot of mental torture and you kill yourself for the worry of how society will look at you. Right? It's so. This is signifying that the mental pain is sometimes more than the physical pain. It is said that the God realm suffering that they go through, even the hell being also, the suffering of hell being also is much less than the mental torture the gods go through. A whole lifetime of enjoyment, and then suddenly you are in quarantine, and they all want to say goodbye and do some good deed and come back, right? So, so the God realm also is a very nice, very pleasurable, but, it's what it says here, is impermanent, and human realm also, yes, you can wish for, next life, I want to be a very happy human being, right? So human being also, if you can really remember, if you really want to relive the human being life, would you really want to be? Firstly, you have to be born. And it is said that when you are born into the human realm, imagine that you are born into the mother's womb, right? It is a total darkness, right? And when your body parts form, it is say you go through so much pain, when the physical bodies are formed. And then, when your mother eats something hot, you feel like you are being boiled alive. When your mother drinks something cold, you feel like you're being put into the deep ice. When mother moves too much, you feel like you're being thrown over the cliff. And then how uncomfortable it is, right? How dark it is. If someone gives you $1 million and say, please stay in the safety tank for 3 days, would you want to? Nobody can take it, right? Similar, but for 9 months, we don't have a choice. And when you come out of the mother's womb, how painful it is if you give a natural birth. Let's say now you have a cesarean. Even cesarean also, it is said that when I believe that I just read in the scriptures, sutras, that I believe when the baby is come, you have to clean, the skin and all of that. When you clean it, it feels like someone is peeling off your skin. And your parents may keep you in a very nice silk and comfortable, but no matter how comfortable it is, you are used to mother's flesh. You are yourself so sensitive, and your mother's flesh is much more softer than any other cloth. When you're kept, you feel like somebody is like, kind of with the sandpaper rubbing on you. And then when you want to go to toilet, what do you want to do? What can you do? Cry. When you're hungry, you cry. Nothing you can do, cry for 2, 3 years. I don't know until how you can speak. So to be born again is also, there is a great suffering. It is said that if you can remember your difficult times in your mother's womb, you will never want to be reborn again. So that's why we say suffering of the birth, right? And then, yes, during your lifetime, you have to go through the suffering of exam, failure, maybe a little bit of bullying here and there, trying to be popular, not being so successful, whatever, then going to college, then relationship, happy, joy, heartbreak, again, happy, heartbreak, the same thing repeating again, right? And then trying to make money, when you try to make money, you can't balance with your family. When this is happy, the boss not happy, boss happy, family is not happy. So many things you have to balance. And on top of that, you are getting old, every second getting old. You try your best, but still getting old, right? Up to a certain time, you can do some Botox or something, but after some time, Botox also doesn't work. No. And you don't want to be old, especially if you are someone very good looking when you are young and you have a lot of attachment, then there'll be a lot of resentment, no? Right? You are very proud of your looks, and now you're getting old and you have no other quality other than your looks, then you're going to be in a very difficult position. And even if you have a lot of everything, when you are getting old, as you age, everything is less and less pleasurable, then of course, you'll get sick, and then die, right? Even if I'm talking about a wonderful life, right? Even if you have a wonderful life, but at least these, the birth, sickness, dying, death, even the billionaires and the president have to go through. Nobody can escape it. Not getting what you want, losing what you have, fear of getting what you want, fear, hope of getting what you want, fear of losing what you have. These kind of thing, every human being has to go through. So even human being life also, it may look very nice because we are very good at, I think, kind of fooling ourselves, Many people tell me nowadays that before they don't used to say, nowadays they say that many people tell me that I don't care if my room is good or not, but my bathroom has to be very good, very beautiful and clean. I always wonder, why is that? Why do you want bathroom is so important? And sometimes I also feel like that because we get carried away by the concept of the society. So I don't know. My theory is that we want bathroom to be clean because we want to pretend that, nothing dirty comes out of our body, You're just very clean and you feel, oh, you're just doing some makeup or something, actually, something really dirty and smelly is coming out, but you pretend that nothing, right? We want to create illusion, right? Because if you just take away, the beautiful part of the bathroom, what we are going to do there is something very smelly and dirty is coming out of our body. That shows our human nature, human body, right? Why, if you just go to a hospital, we only want to see Fifth Avenue. We want to go to Times Square, right? But will any tourist want to go to the, New York General Hospital? I don't think so, right? Because if you go there, you will see the true state of human reality: aging, sickness, death, people crying, people, going through cancer, so many difficulties. No one see, right? Even in our social media posts, we put the smiling one, happy ones, right? Every time I notice this, you can notice, look at your others also. When people are, I saw in many shopping malls, sometimes I look, the couples, when they're about to take a picture, they hug each other, they smile, And the moment the picture is taken, you notice that? That is just to pretend, but it lets other people think that, wow, they have such a perfect relationship. They look so happy, loving. Why are we not happy, And you might even get into argument with your partner also. Look at this picture. They look so happy, They can afford everything. They can go to nice hotel, Maybe actually they're not even staying in the hotel. Maybe they just went to the lobby and took the picture, Right? But, but you are getting an argument with your partner for the sake of social media, So we have sort of illusion, We want to create illusion. We believe in the illusion, of the human reality, human being. That is why we also get disappointed a lot, because we have unrealistic expectations, right? Even in the marriages. Of course, I am not expert in marriage, but the idea of the marriage that we have been taught from the movies and all of that, is that one day you will meet a perfect person, who will understand you without you having even opened your mouth also, right? And then, you'll meet they will be perfect match for you and you'll be happy forever, right? And, that whatever, right? And nowadays that in the modern generation, it's a really confusing time to, I think, to either to be a man or woman, If you have to be man, I think you have to be strong and silent, but in touch with your emotions, like kind of manly, but sensitive at the same time, So you probably end up in, I don't know, maybe you might end up with the third gender or something, No, I mean, the men have no choice, You have to be manly and sensitive at the same time, strong and silent, but communicative at the same time. It's so confusing, I don't know where all this concept comes up, impossible concept, right? And the husband and wife, they are loving, understanding, so then when this kind of illusion is projected on us, we are never happy because we are looking for something that doesn't exist, right? If you really think about it, I think that, if every relationship, there's no one single kind of example or entity that you can look for, because when the two people, come up, two different people, have a different concept, different needs, different way of looking at life. So it is between these two people who they have to decide what makes them happy, what will work for them. And we should not be comparing to others, because others have, again, coming from different background, different concepts, or different way, right? For example, if we go back to our grandmother and grandfather, you might remember actually they are very happy and loving. But if we go back with our modern kind of concept and say, we'll say, we might go to our grandmother and say, I don't think, you are very happy. She'll say, no, I'm very happy, No, why? Because grandfather doesn't remember your Valentine's Day, right? Because Valentine's Day is our modern day concept. So modern day concept, if somebody doesn't remember Valentine's Day, means they don't love you, right? No, I mean, they don't love you maybe because, they don't have that concept. Different, these are very, the different kind of we have nowadays, we have a strong kind of understanding that there's a one sort of model, one shoe that fits everybody, right? But in the reality, how can that be? Even our fingerprints are different. Even our eyes are different. So how can, when two different human beings come together and expect have to follow some of the same models? So if you are really honest and look at every people in a life, I think you'll find that everybody has a different dynamics of relationship. If they decide that's good enough for them, that makes them happy, I think they'll be happy. If not, I don't think I'm not talking about just husband and wife, but in any relationship, right? Maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's between co-workers, maybe it's, you have to, accept that, that you cannot have some sort of one fit everyone, kind of a model, right? So anyway, so, all of these, the tensions, the expectations, the hope and the projections, and then you kind of figuring out or not figuring out in this confusing way, we, live our life, and then we are about to die. We work hard, but we don't know what is the purpose of our life, so this way sort of our life goes. And at the end of the day, life goes. And then, as we mentioned, we have been talking for a few days now, even if he had a wonderful life, it will be like the God, he enjoyed for thousands of years, but at the end of the day, he has to leave behind his enjoyment and nothing to show but memory, right? So, yes, human being, there are joys in there. We don't deny that. But would you really want to be, get attached to the human temporary joy and want to be, stuck again in samsara, right? So now when you have the opportunity to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, have this detachment, right? The reason why we're talking about this is, have some sort of renunciation, have a renunciation, right? Right now, we don't have a renunciation because the bathroom looks so beautiful, we don't mind sleeping in it, right? If you go to India or some sort of rural part of India, now, of course, India is developed also, or any other country where the not developed bathroom, very dirty, you wouldn't want to spend 1 hour there. You'll come out in 2 minutes, right? You will do your business and immediately come out, right? Because the renounce, the illusion is not there. So that's why it's, they have a sense of renunciation, to generate the sense of renunciation and non-attachment. Right now we are attached because we have so much idea that this life, whatever, is so perfect, so beautiful, and we don't visit the hospital, only the Times Square. So that is why it says, from beginningless time, I have been in samsara for so long. I have become king, president, man, woman, queen, rich, poor. And now I'm tired of it, I can born from human to him, but again, I have to go through age, sickness, but now, and though, the happiness of the God realm and this realm is like eating a poisonous food. It may taste delicious, but at the end, it causes you suffering, right? It is beautiful to, meet, but it's very painful to depart, right? So then, but, so My relative, my wealth, and all of that. It's like a dream, like an illusion, like an illusion and a dream. So may I not have a, even the smallest bit of attachment, especially at this moment. My house, my wealth are like a dream house. In the dream, I had this career. In the dream, I was this position. In the dream, I had these children, this wife, this career, whatever. But right now, what do I have to show except some memories and some picture? So may I know that these things are impermanent. These things are changing all the time, inherently not existing, right? If something is changing all the time, it also means what you're seeing is what your mind thinks it is. It is, for example, when you see this flower, we think, this is the same flower. But if we know from logical and scientifically, every second the flower is going through a process of change, then that means what you see has already passed, and the change, what you see is in your mind, not the reality. So, the milam you can't from the endless samsara, may I, like a prisoner who has been let go, may I run towards Amitabha Buddha Pure Land without even looking back. May I be able to, have no attachment, no anger also, right? Even if somebody is done at, so-called anger also, it's because if I was attached to my compliment, my fame, somebody criticized me, I got upset. It's because of my own attachment that I got upset, right? Anyway, whether they criticize me or compliment me or say good or bad, is all the impermanent, is all, now when I'm about to die, when I leave my body also, what does the old grudges and, what does it really matter? So letting go of both the hatred and attachment, may I able to cross very quickly into the different universes and be born in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And in there, when I see may I see Amitabha Buddha, and from the 4 ways of being born, through the mother's womb, through the egg, through the heat and the water, and through the lotus, may I be able to born from the lotus, and immediately, as soon as I'm born, may I be fully grown boy. And then, if I have, it says here, if you do all the things required to be born, but if you have a doubt, for 500 years, you have an enjoyable time in the lotus, but the lotus will not open because you have a negative karma of doubting the words of the Buddha. So that will be too late to see the Buddha. May that not happen. As soon as I reach there, may the flower open. May I see Amitabha Buddha, and through my merit and my, may I be able to manifest all sort of offerings to our Buddhas and Amitabha Buddha, and may the Amitabha Buddha keep his hand on my head and say that, welcome, from now on, you are born into this world. Through my guidance teaching, in so and so time, you will become enlightened. May Buddha give such a prediction, and may I receive so many teachings. And may I also see our Lokeshwara, our Vajrapani, and so many thousands of Buddhas come to see Amitabha Buddha, receive teaching from him. May I be able to serve them and receive teaching from them. May I also be able to visit other pure lands, and then come back. May I go to Potala, the pure land of Cherizig, Changlochen, Ngayabling, Chizindrama's pure land. And may I be able to see hundreds of Chizindrama in different world, Chana Dorji, Guru Padma Sambhava. May I be able to serve them, and may I receive teaching from them. And again, in the night, come back to my the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And may I also able to see the people I have left behind, my family, my student, my teachers, and may I able to protect them. And when they die, may I able to take them also into the Yawachingi Shinkam. And once you are born, Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, for you live for eons and eons. So may I, and even from the thousands Buddhas have come and gone, and I will be there. So may I able to come to this world, receive teaching, and then go back to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So this is the part, that is about dealing with that kind of preparing right now. So when you are, saying this prayer, we should not just be thinking of the word, but actually think that when I really die, because we never know when we die. So when we are about to die, or when we really die also, may I be able to really have this sort of attitude, that is taught in this prayer. Okay. So I think we will do this prayer, this part of prayer today. We start from where we left off yesterday.
jen kun dinen sebün gyor Chüve sange öpa me gelon gende korgi Dündu mansum chambar sho teton iga nawaki Shwe dongye me bar sho chanchu semba cheki Zutru dobki namkar chun Dewa chendu jowai Lamde lamna dembar sho Nyen son du nye sula Lami deki meda gyur Tela chasem gewar sho Toma mene tate bar Korwa dina yure Tela kyoa gewar sho Mine miro kecho kya Keka nashi chamme nyo Tunge nying mara barche Medan lai teki di Dodan tepe zeshindo Deba buza me barasho Nyedu senor dunjo Meda yuma milam shi Shashem puza me barasho Sacha ire kankem na Milam yurge kankem ta Tembare madu shebar sho Tarme korve gyamzone Nyechen tsune tarwa shin Tewa chenge shinkamsu Chite me bar chebar sho Chashen tiwa kunchene Chagu nine tarwa shin Nubye choge namkala Jikte kamni chame ba Kechi yula tujene Tewa chendu chimbar sho Teru sangye ba Munzum shube shetone Chibai tamche dabar sho Chogyurba medo beme nyingbo Zude gewa lembar sho Kechi nila luzone Tembe dembe ludo sho Mike dobe tezon Lojan mage bardai tu Namdir deke longchende Sangye sungni tenaya Meto kani mije Sangye jenje chiveke Tendra dala mijusho Kema dato meto che Epa me peshe tosh Sunam topda zuchu ki Lakbe dine chebe chen Sami kyabar chuche ne Sangye korche chubar sho Tese deshin shekpa de Chaye kyangne gola sho Changju longde tobar sho Inche dune Rangyu menchin chewar sho Chere sidan tu chento Kese tu namye ki Chingi lapshin che son sho Nire shindu chocho yi Sangye changsen pa me pa Eba me ba cheba da Shingdere ta chir chumbe Teda kunla nyen kuru shing Chuki tuze tobar sho Zutru toba me pa yi Mwenge shingda pende Lera zoda dubo Yedai namsunjo Mike Rinjon Deyin Cho Namna La So Sanke Wanda Chila Domba Shu Sheba Dume Chujene Gongmo Dewa Cheni Do Kase Me Ba Le Barash Poja Lada Changlo Chen Maya Linda Urge Chukku Shinkam Jewa Ya Chere Sedan Jumata Chadur Benjun Jewa Ya Jeshin Chuba Yam Suchu Wanda Dhamma Samushu Nyurdo Ramne Teche Toba Mebar Chimbar Shu Shugi Nido Jalo So Hai Miki Sewar Don Songkyo Chingi Lomjech Chidu Jindire Chebar Shu Karsan Di Karbe Tewa Chingi Shachi Te Keba Tame Chingwa Tado Jindire Zimbar Sho Chamba Ne Som Mebebar Karzan Di Sangye Nam Jikten Dena Nam Jense Zuchu Dobke Direon Chuchin Dam Chunye Larian Dechen Shingam Opa Me Baran Joar Sho Yamao Zara Sangye Na Friday. I think tomorrow is the last day of the Amitabha Buddha teaching. So if you have any questions, please send them to the organizer.
And to relate it to, of course, Buddhism is a wide subject. So if you ask other questions, then I think, we wouldn't have time to answer all of them, but just related to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, or what can you do to help the deceased being or yourself through the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land practice. Please keep your question limited to that. Previously, I was thinking that I will teach the Amitabha Buddha from the Sutrayana way, as well as the Vajrayana way of doing the Amitabha. But then, on a second thought, rather than trying to teach too many things, and it's better that first we really understand nicely what is Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, how we can be reborn there, from the Sutrayana point of view, we don't know that. And then once you're really comfortable with that, then next time, because this time we are giving Amitabha Buddha initiation and the practice from the Vajrayana on Saturday. And once you receive the initiation, then the next time when we teach Amitabha Buddha, we will be teaching directly on Amitabha Buddha's visualization and the chanting and etc. Right? If we give directly, when you don't even know what is Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, what is his promise, where is it, how Amitabha Buddha Pure Land looks like, then it's like without really telling you where you will go, what you will, what you can do there. I'm just telling you how to go there. Doesn't really make sense. That's why I think tomorrow, we have to finish the third part. Third part is basically description of the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, right? So that, and I think we will conclude there. So if you have any question and answer related to this particular practice, please send it to the organizer and we will try to answer tomorrow. Thank you.